Okay, now let's delve into your small intestine. Now that we come to your small intestine, what are the characteristics of your small intestine? Okay, small intestine is credited as the longest organ. You have the very specific class, longest organ in the GI tract. In the GI tract. This is the longest organ in the GI tract, measuring about 20 inches, or that's roughly around 6 meters long. That's really long. 6 meters long and with folds. And this folds glass is called as your what? It is called as your very good. It is called as your villi. It is called as your villi. What is the purpose of your villi? The purpose of your villi under your intestinal mucosa is obviously to increase surface area to increase surface area. And did you know that every square inch of intestinal mucosa, there are about 20,000 villi? Yes, that is to increase surface area, making digestion efficient and for the absorption of nutrients. That's the purpose of your villi. Okay, make digestion efficient, make digestion efficient. And what else? Absorption of your nutrients. And the absorption of your nutrients. Now, there are three major divisions of your small intestine. Okay, what are the three divisions? We have your duodenum, your jejunum, okay, your jejunum, and your ileum, and your ileum. Sorry, and your ileum. Okay, so we have your duodenum, that is the most superior division. That is the most superior division, obviously, superior, that is on the top, measuring about 10 inches long. And then we have your jejunum, that is under the middle portion, and we have your ileum. Your ileum is the most inferior part. Inferior, sa pinakababa. Inferior. Now, the bulk of chemical digestion usually occurs in the duodenum. That's roughly around 80% of your chemical digestion occurs in your duodenum. Now, in your jejunum and your ileum, they clean up the rests and finish absorbing the nutrients. So in fact, your jejunum and your ileum, its function is for 20%. They clean up the rest and finish absorbing the nutrients. Now, you have to take a look on this another figure class. In your small intestine, as you can see, this is your duodenum. This is your duodenum. Okay, your duodenum. The duodenum, sorry, should I say, receives pancreatic enzyme. Okay, so this is your pancreatic enzyme, or pancreatic duct rather, pancreatic duct. Okay, receive. Okay, so this is your pancreas. Your duodenum receives pancreatic enzymes through the pancreatic duct that breaks down the food and also receives bile from the liver. Okay, through the, of course, through the hepatic duct. So the small intestine completes food digestion. Food molecules are absorbed through the wall of the small intestine into the circulatory system, from which they deliver to the body cells. We will illustrate further what is happening to your intestinal mucosa. That is actually our discussion that is reserved to the histology later. Okay, we will discuss that later on. What is exactly happening in the small intestine? So the small intestine performs most of the work of the digestion of your absorption. So there are multiple projections in the intestinal mucosa, which increases the surface area for absorption for several hundredfold. That is your villi. That is actually circular projection. That is your Kirk's rinse fold covered by a villi, which contains a lymphatic vessel, your lacteal, a venule of capillaries, an arteriole, nerve fibers, and your smooth muscles. Here, intestinal contractions and various digestive secretions break down of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, actions that enable the intestinal mucosa to absorb these nutrients into the blood stream. Okay, into the bloodstream along with water and electrolytes and subsequently for the use of the body. Okay, for the use of the body. Okay, so we're done with your small intestine. Now we proceed to your large intestine. We proceed to your large intestine. So we're done with this. Okay, we go to your large intestine. Okay. Okay, your large intestine. Okay. Your large intestine, what is the function of your large intestine? Its function is obviously about your reabsorption. Reabsorption. Okay, reabsorption of what? Of your water. Reabsorption of your water secretes your mucus and then eliminate waste. That is the function of your large intestine. Function of your large intestine. Okay, large intestine extends from the ileocecal valve. That is the valve between the ileum and the small intestine and the first segment of your large intestine. Okay, now, so we have here your appendix. Kita? You see that? We have your appendix. That is a little dead pouch here. Okay, little dead pouch here. Hanging off at the start of the large intestine. It is actually an immune organ. It is actually an immune organ. Okay, it is actually considered as immune organ. In microbiology, they are considered as a reservoir of a good bacteria, helping repopulate their colon after their diarrheal infection. Then we go to your ascending colon. We go to your ascending colon and we go across. That is your transverse colon. We go across, that is transverse, and your descending colon. Descending colon. And along all waters being reabsorbed in the bloodstream. And if that did not happen, diarrhea occurs, of course. And your sigmoid colon, this is your sigmoid, obviously. Okay, the S shape. Okay, your S shape. Well, that it's derives its name, your S shape. And the last section, your rectum. Last section, your rectum. Rectum actually is from a Latin term meaning straight. Buti pang rectum straight. Charat. Okay, straight. The functions of your large intestine is to reabsorb water, secretes mucus, and eliminate your waste. So what is exactly happening to your large intestine? By the time that chyme, the paste-like substance, passes through the small intestine and enters into the ascending colon of the large intestine, it has been reduced to mostly indigestible substance. So the food now begins its journey through the large intestine where the ileum and cecum join with the ileocecal pouch, and then the food move up to the ascending colon, past the right abdominal cavity to the liver's lower border, and then crosses horizontally below the liver and the stomach by way of your transverse colon and descends the left abdominal cavity to the iliac fossa. Okay, to the iliac fossa through the descending colon. From there, the bolus now travels through the sigmoid colon to the lower midline of the abdominal cavity, then to the rectum, and finally anal to the anal canal. So the anus opens to the exterior through to sphincter, the internal sphincter which contains thick circular smooth muscle under autonomic control, and then the external which contains skeletal muscle under voluntary control. Under your voluntary control. Although large produces number of hormones. Large intestine produces, take note, okay, large intestine produces, does your large intestine produces hormones? No. Okay? Produces no hormones. Produces no hormones. It does not produce hormones nor enzymes. It continues the absorptive process. Through blood and lymph vessels in the submucosa, the proximal half of the large intestine absorb all but about 100 ml of the remaining water in the colon, absorb sodium and chlorine as well. Okay? And another class, importance of your large intestine. If you can still remember your microbiology, your large intestine also harbors bacteria. Okay? Harbors bacteria such as your E. coli, your lactobacillus bifidus, okay, which turn to help synthesize what vitamin? Yes, okay, vitamin K break down and break down cellulose into usual carbohydrate into a usual carbohydrate into usual carbohydrate. And also this bacterial action also produces flatus, which yung utot, okay, yung utot yung nagbangsot, okay, which helps propel feces towards the rectum. So the process of your mass movement in the lower colon na dinidiscuss natin kanina, long and relatively sluggish contraction causes propulsive waves or mass movement, normally occurring several times per day, and then it propels into your intestinal contents into the rectum and produce the urge to defecate. Ayan. Sobrang nagmamadali ka na yung taing-tai ka na. Defecation normally results from what? Defecation reflex, of course. That is a sensory and parasympathetic nerve mediated response along with the voluntary relaxation of the external anal sphincter. Okay, so that is all about the mechanism of your food, the journey of your digestion. Now, we're done with that. Okay, we're done. We go to your, another topic is your accessory organs. I'll repeat your accessory organs. They are not actually under your digestive. They're not directly in the digestive tract, but they have ducts that lead into the tract. Okay, into the tract. Okay, so let's delve into the accessory organs. First, okay, your all-time favorite organ. Okay, your all-time favorite organ, which is your liver. Okay, which is your liver. This is actually my favorite organ. Why liver is your favorite organ? Because liver functions almost 200 functions. Nakapanghina naman. Okay, kaya ligtas ako, hindi ko kailangang i-discuss yung 200 functions na yan. This is digestive system. Okay, what is the digestive function of your liver? It is actually considered as the largest internal organ of the body. Internal organ of the body. And remember that your liver weigh around bigat 3 pounds. Weigh around 3 pounds. And then your liver is divided into left and right lobe, separated by a connective tissue. Ayan, separated by connective tissue. Septum called your falciparum. Okay, called your falciparum. Your liver class, number one, most common function, digestive function, is your liver secretes your bile. Okay, secretes your bile. That's actually important. Okay, secretes your bile. Another important function, okay, why does the liver is important in your digestion? Secretes your bile. That is actually a greenish substance. Okay, it's actually a greenish substance. Why is that important? Because bile neutralizes your stomach acid. Okay, neutralizes, let me write that one class, neutralizes stomach acid. Neutralizes stomach acid. Okay? And another importance of your bile, okay, it is not only neutralize stomach acid, but it is a fat emulsification. It breaks down food, emulsifies your fats. Emulsifies your fats. Another important function of your liver, number two, let me write here, okay, metabolism of your glucose. It modifies your glucose. Modifies your glucose. How? Okay, liver cells remove sugar from the blood and store it in the form of what? Store it in the form of glycogen. Okay, liver cells remove sugar from the blood and store it as what? As glycogen. Stores as a glycogen. Store lots of carbohydrates. Store lots of carbohydrates. Okay, stores as glycogen and break down. Okay, and break down into simple glucose and put that back into the blood. Kasi pag nakita niya yan, oops, this food contains a lot of glucose. Kaya gagawin niya, store lots of your carbohydrates, okay, as glycogen, and then break down into a simple glucose, and then put that back into the blood. Okay, into the blood. What else? Another accessory organ that is important in your digestive system is your pancreas. Okay, is your pancreas. Okay, your pancreas is a flat organ about 15 to 23 centimeters long. It is a flat organ about 15 to 23 centimeters long that lies behind the stomach. Remember that your pancreas secretes more than 1,000 ml of digestive enzymes every day. Okay, it secretes more than 1,000 of your digestive enzymes every day going to the pancreatic duct. Okay, to your duodenum. Okay, to your duodenum. Now, remember that your duodenum chemically absorb your nutrients. Duodenum chemically absorb nutrients. What are the important, okay, what are the important enzymes, okay, produced by your liver? I'm sorry, by your pancreas. Number one, we have your amylase. Okay, we have your amylase. Your amylase breaks starch into simple sugar. Okay, simple sugar. Two, proteases. Okay, your proteases. Okay, how about sir your proteases? Okay, it is an enzyme responsible for what? Breakdown. Letter P. Break down protein into what? Into amino acids. And then your third one, okay, your lipase. Okay, obviously your lipase breaks down fats or breaks lipids, fats, okay, into fatty acids, into fatty acids. So those are the three main enzymes produced by your pancreas: amylase, proteases, and your lipase. Another important accessory organ is your salivary gland. Your salivary gland produces obviously of saliva, which contains enzyme to break down your carbohydrates. Another important function, it cleanses the mouth, dissolve and moisten the food. It keeps the oral cavity, ayan, okay, moist. Okay, moist. Moisten your food and dissolve the food. It is actually divided into three. We have your parotid gland, we have your sublingual gland, and your submandibular. Parotid, parotid by the ear. Parotid by the ear. And we have also your sublingual. Sublingual. What do you mean by sublingual? Sub means beneath, and lingua means, what do you mean by lingua? Tongue. That's under your tongue. Okay, that's under your tongue. Okay, under the tongue. Under your tongue. Have you experienced this class or have you observed people when they gleek? Yung sobrang halakhak nila, sa sobrang kaampiangan nila. Okay, you see people gleek, they actually squirt saliva out from this, 'di ba? Yung sa may frenulum area mo. Okay, nag-squirt minsan na sasaweran ka. And then we have your submandibular. Okay, that is submandibular. Sub means beneath. Mandibular, mandible, that is under your mandible. And before I forget, salivary glands also contains lysozyme, which helps to prevent pathogens from entering your digestive system. Your digestive system. Now that we are done with your accessory organ, we go now to your histology. Yes, okay, your histology, your key histology of your digestive system. The key histology of your digestive system. So basically, we have four layers. Okay, we have four layers of your histology. We have four layers of your intestinal mucosa. Four layers of your intestinal mucosa. As you can see, we have here your mucosa. We have here your submucosa. And then your smooth muscle. Let me write that one, class. Your smooth muscle. Okay, layers. And then your peritoneum. Okay, and then we have your peritoneum, which is again your serosa level. Okay, so we have here the four layers. Basically, we have four layers of your intestinal mucosa. We have your mucosa, okay, which contains what? Anong laman ng mucosa layer po natin. Obviously, it contains this one. You see that? That is actually a simple, okay, that is actually a simple columnar epithelial cells. Okay, columnar epithelial cells. And this one, goblets. And your goblets. And this goblets class, anong ginagawa ng goblets mo? Makes mucus for the protection of your intestinal mucosa. And we have here a little wrinkle. Okay, little wrinkle. Mga ganyan. Okay, what do you call this class? This is called as your microvilli. Okay, your microvilli. It's called as your microvilli. The wrinkles in the cells, finger-like projection. So next layer, we have your submucosa. We have here your submucosa. Consists main things full of what? This one. Full of, anong laman ng submucosa nyo, class? Full of, yes, full of WBC. Punong-puno yan ng WBC mo. Mostly, it is mostly mast cells. And that mast cells will release your histamine and so forth. Okay? It consists of main things full of WBC to capture pathogens and fight it back, and a lot of connective tissue holding them together. Ayan, yung kulay green, that green color represents your connective tissue. That orange color represents your WBC. That is your submucosa. Okay, that is your submucosa. Baka hindi nakikita. That is your submucosa. Okay, the first layer is what we call as your mucosa. The second layer, let me enlarge this figure. Okay. There. Okay. So we have your layer of your mucosa, we have your submucosa, and then we have the layer of your smooth muscle. Okay. Smooth muscle. Smooth muscle layer. Oh, by the way, your submucosa, masyadong malaki kasi ganun. Okay, let me reduce that one. Okay. Your submucosa contains full-blown yan. Okay? Main thing of full of WBC, mostly mast cells that releases your histamine, captures pathogens, and fight it back, and a lot of connective tissue holding them together. And this pink color here, this is a lot of a blood vessels. This is actually a lot of blood vessels. Okay, lot of blood vessels or your capillary, and then lymphatic vessels. Yeah, let me use this color. Okay, to illustrate this one. Your lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels. These lymphatic vessels do not carry blood, but extra fluid away. So below that we have your smooth muscle. We have your smooth, sorry, let me just erase this one. Your smooth muscle. Okay, your smooth muscle. Okay, contains obviously of a circular layers representing your muscle fibers. And then there is a wrap here. There's a wrap here around. And then the last layer, let me use green color. Okay, that surrounds your intestine. Is a specialized epithelial cells that makes your serous fluid, which is your peritoneum. Okay, which is your peritoneum. Epithelial cells Okay, your peritoneum is your serosa. Your serosa. Okay, so round intestines, as special as epithelial cells, makes your serous fluid. That is your peritoneum. That is your serosa. Okay, that is your serosa. So I'll repeat, there are four layers. We have your mucosa, we have your submucosa, we have your smooth muscle, and your peritoneum. And your peritoneum. Okay, and your peritoneum. Now, let me take you back to the upper part. Okay, take a look on the top part, wherein how nutrients are being absorbed in the intestinal mucosa. How nutrients are absorbed in the intestinal mucosa. Okay, okay, let me draw another one, class. Okay, you have to remember this, class, how nutrients are absorbed in the intestinal mucosa. So we have here, okay, we have here a particular, what are those? Mukha naman siyang baybayin, sir. Charot. Okay. So, this is meant to represent your lipid. Okay, this is meant to represent your lipid. And how to break down your fat and could be break down into individual fatty acid. That enzyme responsible is called as your, again, yes, very good, that is your lipase. Okay, that is your lipase. And this is critically important because they are able to absorb through the intestine directly into the lymphatic vessel and carried as chylomicrons. Okay, ganito. Okay? This is meant to be a lipid. And how to break down that lipid into a fatty acid is through the help of your enzyme lipase. Why is this important? This is critically important. How are they obtaining or absorbing nutrients from the intestinal mucosa? Okay? They're able to absorb through the intestine directly sa lymphatic. Can you still remember this one, class? This is a lymphatic vessel. Okay? Ganyan sila kung kumuha sila mag-absorb ng nutrients. They can go directly into the lymphatic system and carried as chylomicrons. Directly. Okay? So, fats, okay, can go straight to the directly to the lymphatic system. So these fats, class, these fats go straight to the vena cava and dump into the goes into the vena cava and dump into the heart. So they bypass the liver in order for them to absorb nutrients. Lipase absorb through the intestine directly the lymphatic vessel or lymphatic system. So fats go straight to the vena cava and dump into the heart bypassing the liver, of course. And fats travel through the lymph vessels to the heart. Because the heart, take note that the heart relies on fatty acids in order for them to make its energy. Okay, to mix your energy. Okay, now this one, yung blue color na yan, class. You can see it. Okay? That is meant to represent your absorption of your nutrients of your amino acids and your glucose. Okay? It's a different story, class. It's a different story. The breakdown of your glucose and your amino acids. What's the story of your glucose and your amino acids? If lipase can absorb through the intestine directly to the intestine, okay, through the intestine, directly rather absorbs through the intestine directly the lymphatic vessels, and that fats go straight to the vena cava and dump into the heart, bypassing the liver, and fats travels through lymph vessels to the heart, because heart relies mainly on the fatty acids for them to make its energy. It's a different story about the absorption of your or breakdown of your amino acids and your glucose. That these nutrients get to be absorbed into the bloodstream because they need to process by the liver before it's free reign. Okay, before it's free reign, need to be absorbed into the blood vessels. Okay, into the blood vessels. These nutrients get to be absorbed into the bloodstream, blood vessels, because they need to be processed, okay, by the liver. Okay, by the liver. They gets into the blood vessels. Okay, they gets into the blood vessel through your through what? Anong tawag mo dyan? They gets into the blood vessels through your liver, through your, yes, very good, through your hepatic portal vein. Kapag nakita ni liver, wow, ang dami namang glucose sa food nito. So the liver will store this as a glycogen again. Okay, so that is all about your digestive system. And thank you for your good attention. Bye bye.